Starting Monday, we will release our Central Indiana scoreboard show every day of the week. It's an ESPN Radio Sports Center style podcast that features the Pacers, Fever, Colts, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, and local high schools and colleges in Central Indiana. Hope you'll join us. You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 275.3. John Robertson and Michelle Garmon react to the Fever's 90-88 loss to the New York Liberty.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
She'll be here in a minute, I'm sure. Welcome, Fever fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Tough loss today for the Fever. I guess if we're going to give New York one, this would be the one, right?
Yeah, if we have to lose a game to New York right now, we'll go ahead and give them an early one in the WNBA.
That's right. Welcome, John Robertson, who just left Shelbyville and is driving back to Tipton, and we are waiting for Michelle Garmon to join us. Just not a very good Caitlin Clark day. I think that was the bottom line.
I think that's the bottom line, kind of. That's probably the big story that the media is going to run with. But I think the bigger takeaway is that the Fever stayed in the game and hung with New York Liberty, even though Caitlin Clark was 0 for 6. I think that's the bigger story and the better takeaway, right? You know, you don't have to rely on Caitlin hitting 6 of 6 from 3 to keep you in the game. You can stay in the game even though she's 0 for 6.
I really do think that is the takeaway, and this roster is so much better than it had been, than it was last year for sure, and that's probably the storyline you come away with, especially if you're a Fever fan. They were down 14 or something.
Right, and then within a few minutes, they were up 10 right after that, right? So it was a very quick, very big shift, but you're exactly right. I think if you're a Fever fan, your takeaway should be we played well even when Caitlin had a struggling day. If you're major market media, you're going to say Caitlin Clark shoots terrible and Fever lose.
Welcome, Michelle Garmon. She now joins us. And Michelle, if Caitlin Clark's going to be an elite player, she's got to take better shots, doesn't she?
Yeah, there's three areas she still really needs to improve. One is defense. She is just getting burnt so bad defensively. And I am glad that Stephanie's taken her out down at the end of games when it's crunch time with defense. And part of that is she's just not getting low. The second thing she needs to do is she needs to still work on and get a mid-range jumper and not a fall-away mid-range jumper. She's just never had to shoot it. In college, it was layups or threes. And then the third thing is, yes, she's got to get better shot selection. Her basketball IQ is good. It's not great because sometimes she forgets situation, time, and score. And, this is just her second year out of college. And, there's still some things, there were things she could do and got away with at Iowa that you can't do at the WNBA because those teams, I mean, there's so few. The talent level is superb every time you go out and you face somebody. I will say this. I think right now, and John, I know you said that, and Boston does need to convert a little bit, maybe late some of those easy ones, but I'll tell you, I'm so impressed. If I was to give a point this thing, the key player for the Fever, and don't get me wrong, because I love Lexi Hall and her energy and what she brings, but I just think it's Aaliyah Boston, her passing and her, sometimes she sets up and runs our offense. I mean, she's gotten better dribbling the ball. She's
her feet are too quick.
Defense is pretty good.
Her feet are too quick for most other big players in the WNBA. She's just so quick with her feet.
She isn't. Howard didn't play bad today, and I know, like you said, John, the media, the national Caitlin Clark shoots poorly, and the Fever lose, but she does not. She's not the Fever are a team. She's not the sole reason they win, and she's not the sole reason
Well,
they
did
lose.
did you hear the first part of my quote? It said, "If you're a Fever fan, your takeaway is Caitlin had a bad day, and we still hung with the team, and we did really well. If you're not a Fever fan and you're fully solely focused on Caitlin Clark or whatever, one of those types, that's going to be your." So that I agree with you. I don't think that she's the sole reason at all, but I'm saying there's so many people that will twist it to that because they have an agenda.
Oh, you're right. They do. But, those fans that do, I think we had another player go 0 for 11 the other night, and all her shots were from inside 5 feet.
There's a huge difference between the people that are fans of the basketball, of any WNBA basketball, whether it's Fever or any team, and then there are lots of people who are wanting to twist teams into a political or some sort of, you know, activist thing. And like I avoid all of those voices, and I care about the basketball. So
Let's be honest, though. If she goes 6 for 18 and has 10 turnovers, she's at fault a lot for this loss.
sure, absolutely. But I agree with you. The Boston had a really great game. Like I mean, she got 27 points, and I don't remember how many rebounds, but so she had a great game. I
13.
just 13 rebounds. We just needed a couple of those shots at the end. Like it's almost like when she's cutting so fast, she just like forgets that she's got to slow down the shot because it bounces so far off the backboard and then rims out. And those are the ones like we need to close out the game. But I love her movement. I love how quickly she's cutting. The Caitlin to Boston
And
assists were spectacular.
and I thought Boston. I thought there were a couple times when she got fed the ball, it was really the wrong angle. She did the best she could, and she missed those shots a couple times. And they didn't. It came a little too quick. It didn't really lead her in a position to be able to square her shoulders and do anything.
Yeah, I couldn't watch the game as closely as I normally would have, so I can't go into that much detail. And I'm far from an Aaliyah hater. I absolutely love Aaliyah Boston, so let's not. I wish she would have made a couple of shots there at the end.
She's my favorite player on the Fever. I'm a big Aaliyah Boston fan.
She's great.
Enthusiasm. I love her. I love her skill set, and not much from the bench today.
Well, let's talk about my favorite player on the Fever. I think that's what we should really talk about. Let's talk about Lexi Hulst in the starting five today. And what a lift she gave the team. Her hustle is so good. I mean, she had like 5 or 7 back-to-back points there, and then she made a couple of really good defensive plays. I think that girl needs to be in the starting lineup every game.
I love Lexi too, John. I think Stephanie is still trying to find different combinations, and I won't be surprised if she juggles her lineup a little bit depending on matchups and who they play. But I agree. I think Lexi has to be in the starting lineup only because she is our best perimeter defender, and um, I will give kudos to Kelsey Mitchell because I think Kelsey Mitchell's playing better defense than I've really seen her through a game. I've seen her play good defense in spurts her previous years, but to kind of lock down and want to play defense. So for Mitchell, that's good, but Hall needs to. We just got to find some combinations that work. And the only critique I will say of Stephanie, and I take it for a grain of salt. It's not really because she knows more basketball than she. I mean, she knows more basketball than I will have ever. Or no, she's forgotten more basketball than I will ever know. Almost got that backwards. But I think that sometimes I think the best thing that you should do or could be done with Caitlin when she struggles is to sit her on the bench. For just, and I'm not talking a long stretch, just to let her catch her breath and calm down, and then put her back in because sometimes her carries over, and I think it even speeds her up some. And I think sometimes that's also why she can have a few turnovers. And one other thing she's got to remember, she's not in college anymore. So if she flails her body acting like she's gotten fouled, she's not necessarily going to go to the free throw line. Not at this level. And I know she won it at the last, but from the angle I was watching, and the official that didn't make the call was right in front. It looked like the Liberty defender just reached in underneath her arm and just poked the ball loose. And Caitlin felt that, and I think tried to con her way to the free throw line. 3 free throws, but
She did get pounded once they didn't call it when it was clearly I can't remember who it was got ball, but also just pounded her into the basket and was like, "What in the world?" But
oh no, that Bonner, that was clean. You
yeah,
don't you? I mean, she came the momentum. The momentum carried her down because the thing with it wasn't Bonner. I mean, the
yeah.
Stewart when she came
It
down on
was not
top, it
clean.
forced her
It was
down.
all body. She crushed her to the basket. That is not clean. I'm sorry. Just because you get the ball doesn't mean you don't foul underneath.
Well,
Uh,
she probably doesn't go to the basket if she doesn't flail her left arm back trying to draw the contact and draw the foul. Caitlin has does not have good regard for her body sometimes in protecting herself. I noticed that even when she played in college, she flails around, and it worries me because I keep thinking she's just one bad flail away from a serious injury.
John, again, I brought this up earlier, and you wanted to talk about Lexi, which we completely understand, but only 47 minutes for the bench. 3 players, one of them 4 minutes. They're going to have to find some depth.
That's fair. I think Dewana played better off the bench
He
today.
did.
Her defense looked really good. So I don't know if that was because she was motivated or the matchup was good or she's just starting to find her fit. But, we know Dewana is a great player. It was just the first time she really statistically showed out and seemed aggressive and was playing well. So, it's so hard when you talk about WNBA. I don't want it to sound like I'm saying anybody's bad. Dewana's great. But this was her first really impactful game, I felt like, of the season.
She'd been pretty bad the first 2 games, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's totally fair. But, I just,
Yeah.
NBA, talking about the NBA and talking about the NBA, talking about the WNBA versus the NBA feels so different because I can say whatever in the NBA and I feel like people are like, yeah, that's right, that's sports. But you say something in the WNBA and I worry about people like, oh my gosh, he's
Not on
met.
this podcast. We're going to be
Well,
on every
that,
time.
that's fair. And I'll be honest, but it's just one of those things. I worry about the listeners like becoming keyboard warriors and like, how dare you? And so, no,
She was
I
horrible
love,
the first 2 games.
she wasn't very good the first 2 games, but she was finding her fit. And
Exactly. What we've been saying is that's understandable. She's on a new team after how many years in the same place, and or it's
well,
anytime you're trying to fit in, it can take some time.
same thing with Howard. She started off really poorly against the first Atlanta game, and then she just blows up and goes off against Atlanta in the second game. So, like, everybody's going to find their place. If you compare it to last year, they started slow and everybody slowly fit together. And then, man, they were, and we got a lot more talent. So they're going to be fine. It's a long season. People need to relax if they're freaking out so far.
Today was a real good sign, I thought.
I thought so too. I thought today was a great game. It was really exciting, and let's be real. New York is still the reigning champions, right? They're
Right.
still the defending champions. So you lose a game by 2 is not a huge disappointment.
Not at all.
Well, that don't you think? I think Cunningham. She was hobbled by that ankle earlier, and I think she's going to find her niche in there too. And if you do that, I mean, truthfully, they need to get 3 steady performances off the bench. They really need to be a solid 8 deep, I think, if they want to, go and win the title. And because I'll tell you what, I've been paying a lot of attention to minutes for some of these other teams, like the Lynx. They're starting out, but I remember, they had trouble shooting the ball at the end last year, and they're playing a lot of minutes. I mean, they have a couple players that are probably averaging 38 minutes a game, and I know the Fever may have some too, but I sit there and I still think, guys, you need to take a page a little bit out of some of these NBA teams that are successful and find some depth and don't burn your stars out early.
Since you brought up the Lynx, let's discuss who said that they were going to be the best team in the NBA of the first podcast we did. Who was that?
I think it was me.
No,
It was
I said the
John.
Lynx was going to be the best. That was me. So Lynx and Liberty are the only two undefeated teams left, right? I just wanted to point that out.
I
Yeah.
don't think that was a big leap, John. Take all the credit you want.
No,
Everybody,
I was the only one to say it though. I just want to put it on the record.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they won't. I think they're going to be good early. I don't know how good they're going to be late though, because I mean they do have Collier, but they are playing. They're playing some of
You're
their
saying they're playing Tom Thibodeau basketball. That's what you're trying to say.
yes.
Yeah. Um,
I am, and
but
I looked I looked at the Aces and some of them, but the Aces go a little bit deeper. The Liberty sometimes have been going deeper. Yeah, I just that's why I just think about that with the Lynx sometimes, and I'm thinking, I get it, but to me, it's a long, it's aren't you playing the long game a little bit too? I mean, there's
I don't
only
know.
13 teams in the WNBA, so you're gonna make the playoffs if you're the Lynx. And I know you want the number one seed, but home court doesn't always mean anything at that in the come that time. So
Well, let me ask. I don't have the stats in front of me. So, how did
I do.
Dantas do today?
4 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like she's going to be one of our big impact players as we get into the season. I really think I like DeMontis a lot, and I really think she's going to be good. I just didn't see her in there much today.
All right, guys, we've got tomorrow the Indianapolis 500 and then the Pacers game 3 in Indianapolis. What a day. And then but the Fever have 3 days off. The Pacers play 2 games before the Fever play again. But, John, I think you and I will probably be doing a Fever report here coming up in the next couple of days. And I think it's a good report so far.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bright spots. I think anybody who's expecting them to go undefeated the whole season and is disappointed with their record right now needs to self-evaluate a little bit. But I think there's a lot of bright points to take away from the start of the season.
I agree, and I know I said I predicted that they would be undefeated maybe the first couple of weeks, and part of that is stupid me. I forgot to see that they were playing the Liberty twice too, but I still
That wasn't a shot at you, Michelle. I don't remember that. I
Oh
was
no,
just
I know
saying
that
it.
wasn't a shot. I know that wasn't a shot at me. I'm admitting it. Mea culpa. I don't have problems admitting that. I just think I agree with you. I don't. I think it's better to be playing well at the end than at the beginning, and I guess that's and so
The
I
Pacers
see
are
a
proof
lot
of
of
that. Look at the
positives.
Pacers.
Oh, I know. What they're 44-14 since January 1. So, and they were struggling. They were struggling to even get to the 4 seed so they could host the first round of the playoffs.
They were barely above
The
500
4.
midway through the season. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see with the Fever, but we will be talking about it all season. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate your time. Thanks to John and Michelle for making the time to join the Central Indiana Sports Report and reacting to the Fever loss. And thank you for listening. Please tune in every time the Fever play a game. We will be reacting. Same, of course, with the Pacers, Colts, IU, Purdue, all that stuff. We will be reacting every day of the year. I think yesterday was the best day in the history of history. Pacers. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media, and I love Susie.